A strong storm system is making its way into the United States, expected to bring severe weather on the 4th of July, where we got a potential for strong tornadoes, very strong winds, and large hail. Plenty of instability is surging up into the United States, expected to make storms form and potentially be very significant. In today's video, I'll break down what you need to know about the severe weather potential on the 4th of July, so let's go ahead and get right into the forecast. It's Friday, July 3rd, 2026, and you can see that the Storm Prediction Center does have a potential for severe weather today across a very large portion of the United States, from the Mid-Atlantic all the way into the Northern Plains. There's a marginal risk going from the Ohio Valley all the way up into the Northern Plains. Then you got this slight risk going from the Mid-Atlantic into parts of South Dakota, and then you got this enhanced risk over here for eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. If we go ahead and switch over to our tornado threat for today, our tornado threat today is going to be relatively low. But we cannot rule out an isolated tornado out here in parts of northern Nebraska, western Iowa, and southern South Dakota. If we get one of those storms to really start rotating, it's going to be something to keep an eye on. So Omaha, Sioux City, all the way over there towards Rapid City. You guys all need to be watching this very closely. Main threat for damaging winds will be inside this area right here, where we do have a threat for 75-mile-per-hour plus winds, especially within this 30% wind risk. So you guys definitely want to be strapping down on secured objects so they don't fly away. We're also going to be looking at a chance for large to very large hail within these areas up to hen egg size. So definitely park your car in the garage so it doesn't get damaged by hail, as we definitely could be seeing some potential for very large hail today. As we get into tomorrow on Saturday, another severe weather threat is likely from the Mid-Atlantic into parts of the plains, as we do have a pretty large area to be watching, as this is the Storm Prediction Center outlook right here. Tomorrow's tornado threat is going to be very low though. As you can see, we cannot route an isolated tornado tomorrow around Wichita, Kansas, so you guys need to keep an eye on that. But I don't think tomorrow's tornado threat is gonna be too crazy. But Wichita, Kansas, guys, gotta be watching that very closely. This is our wind threat for tomorrow. I wouldn't route an upgrade to a 30% wind risk somewhere out here in the Mid-Atlantic tomorrow. As we're gonna be seeing a decent amount of storms out there, so you guys need to be watching that very closely. Then we got another 15% out here in parts of the plains, so definitely strap down on secured objects if you're in those areas tomorrow. We're also looking at a chance for some hail out here, mainly in the plains tomorrow, so also be aware for that. Now, as we get to Sunday, another severe weather threat is likely out here in the Texas Panhandle, and then out here in the Mid-Atlantic. Sunday, we do have potential for some damaging winds, hail, and the tornado threat is going to be near zero. So we're going to watch Sunday closely here. If you're out there in the Mid-Atlantic or in parts of the Ohio Valley, you guys need to be watching that. And then out there in Texas Panhandle. Here's the future radar for today. We are expected to see some storms start to form a little bit later today out here in parts of the northern plains out here. So those storms could be producing some damaging winds out there. So if you're out there in Shane out there in Wyoming, you guys need to be watching a few storms potentially, maybe around 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. Out there in western Kansas, we're also going to get some storms to form. Then we're going to get some of our main storms to start forming out here in the Midwest to produce some damaging winds and hail. And they'll really start to get their act together around 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern. So watch that very closely. Then we're just going to have a very widespread area of scattered thunderstorms here, producing a potential for damaging winds, hail, and maybe even a tornado. I think the main concern, though, for tornadoes will be in this area. I wouldn't rule out a tornado up here in the northern plains for like western North Dakota, eastern Montana, though. So we'll keep an eye on that. So that's kind of what the future radar is looking like there, over there. Then out here in the Ohio Valley, we also are expecting a few storms to pop up out here to produce some damaging winds, hail, and everything like that. I don't think the tornado threat out here in Ohio Valley will be anything too crazy, but I think mainly just some damaging winds and hail. I'm really watching the Nashville area for a few storms today. I think that's going to be the area I'm watching the closest there. If you're out there in Nashville, I'd be prepared for a few storms around 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern. We also could see a few isolated storms pop up out here in Ohio Valley to maybe produce some hail and some damaging winds. And you got some storms up here in the Northeast that we are also going to be keeping an eye on. As they could be producing some damaging winds and hail, but a very low tornado threat out there in the Northeast today. And we do got plenty of storm fuel out here in the United States today to make these storms fire, especially out here in Ohio Valley. So if we can get any storm to really sustain themselves, that could be pretty significant. Then out there in parts of the plains, they have also plenty of storm fuel to help those storms form. So this is pretty typical for July and stuff, but there's just plenty of storm fuel out here today. You can see here we got plenty of moisture surging up in here, like with like the moisture and the heat wave. wave both together, that's also going to make the heat wave worse, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, as we get into tomorrow on Saturday, the severe weather threat is likely to continue. Tomorrow is 4th of July. So you can see here that we are expected to see some severe weather on the 4th of July, potentially. So we're going to have to watch the 4th of July very closely for that severe weather potential. You can see we're going to have a lot of storms out here in Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. These could be producing a lot of damaging winds and hail, and a very low tornado threat though tomorrow out there in the Mid-Atlantic. But we're just it's going to be very stormy for a lot of you guys out there on the 4th of July. If you're doing any outdoor plans out there from the Ohio Valley all the way up into the Northeast and even in parts of the plains, if you're doing any outdoor plans or anything, or even fireworks shows, you definitely want to be making sure to have a way to get alerts, as the severe weather is going to be, there's going to be a lot of storms out there on the 4th of July. So anybody that has outdoor plans, like you're doing barbecue or maybe you're doing some fireworks shows, you definitely want to make sure you're having a way to get alerts, and you want to be paying attention to the radar and the fireworks at the same time. Our strong tornado threat tomorrow is going to be pretty low. I don't think a strong tornado on the 4th of July is going to be anything too crazy. But yeah, I think our main tornado threat tomorrow will probably be out here in parts of Kansas and kind of these areas if we do get a storm to pop up. Strong tornado threat out there is going to be very low, but we'll monitor the trends. Sunday, we are also expecting severe weather potentially on Sunday for a pretty also widespread area. Out here in the Mid-Atlantic, we're expecting severe weather on Sunday. As you can see right here, if we go and push up the future radar, we're expecting to see a few storms out there on Sunday. But we could see a few storms out here in the Great Lakes region on Sunday as well that could produce some damaging winds and hail. Tornado risk on Sunday is going to be very low. Out here in the Texas Panhandle, we could also see a few storms on Sunday pop up in parts of the afternoon into the evening and even into the overnight hours. So we're going to have to watch these storms very closely. We could have a decently significant damaging wind threat pop up on Sunday out there in Texas, so we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. But our atmosphere on Sunday is pretty primed to make those storms form. So also Sunday after 4th of July, you guys want to be prepared for that. So I know a lot of people are traveling, but probably on Sunday and today. So you guys also want to be making sure to pay attention to the weather. We're going to have very widespread severe weather over the next few days. We are expected to continue to have more storm systems make its way into the United States. If we go ahead and look at our wind model here, you can see that most of the crazy storm systems are going to be shot up into Canada. We're not just going to have those low pressure systems going into the United States producing very strong tornadoes and stuff. It's mainly just going to be some of those smaller, more localized and kind of hard to predict severe weather setups. But we're going to continue to get these storm systems that make its way into the United States, as you can see right here. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on the severe weather potentials. Also, guys, we got this typhoon out here, Bavi, going into some of these islands out here, which is not good, like the Guam area. So this could be a very significant typhoon here, producing very strong winds. So you guys definitely want to be prepared for that if you're out there. It's looking like a very significant typhoon there, so we'll have to watch that. It could even all get over there to China too at some point, producing a lot of heavy rainfall. So out there in China, you guys need to be watching that very closely. Yeah, as it is expected to get back to Fuzhou, Xiamen, China, you guys need to be watching that. Taipei, Taiwan, you guys even need to be watching this, as this is looking like a pretty bad typhoon. So we'll watch that very closely there. We also got Douglas out here in the eastern Pacific. This is not really expected to be anything too crazy, and it doesn't really threaten any land. Here's the temperature anomaly right here. We are expecting some really warm temperatures out there in parts of the United States over the next few days with that heat wave. A little bit after 4th of July, it should start calming down. The heat should start calming down a little bit after the 4th of July. Instead of being like that 90s to 100s, it's probably going to go down to the 70s and 80s for some of you guys. All the way up until the 4th of July, even on Sunday, you guys just need to be making sure to stay hydrated, and definitely keep your animals, your pets hydrated, as it's going to be very hot. And that's pretty much all I got for you in today's video. Definitely make sure to like and subscribe. Definitely make sure to be staying weather aware. Make sure to click that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day and stay weather aware.